The fallout continues over a controversial appointment in Cabarrus County. 15 people from a government watchdog group are now suing, calling the appointment of a new board member unlawful as the seat was technically not vacant.
Now, this all started last week when the executive committee of the county's Republican Party recommended Chairman Christopher Meismer to fill North Carolina Senator Paul Newton's seat. Since Meismer cannot serve as a county commissioner and a member of the state senate at the same time, the remaining board members would have to vote to fill his role, or it would be left up to the Cabarrus County Clerk of the Superior Court. Well, Meismer issued a notice for a special board meeting for April 10th at 8:15 a.m. Now, the lawsuit claims the timing of the special meeting was no coincidence.
All right, so we're joined now by Chief Legal Analyst Cabarrus Citizens, and this is something that a lot of people with their local governments just aren't really aware of how this all works. So with this lawsuit, who's in the right and wrong here?
We've looked at this a couple of times, right? And it's crazy that this is my probably fifth time reviewing this
right.
situation. They've had a number of, intense back and forth type of meetings. And this one, I think the question is, was the seat vacant? Were you attempting to do, as he had in his notice for a special meeting, were you attempting to fill an anticipatory vacancy on the Board of County Commissioners? I mean, if that's the case, is there a law that allows you to do anticipatory vacancies? I haven't found anything that allows that to occur. 153A-27 outlines how you fill a vacancy on a Board of Commissions. It begins with the first part, if a vacancy occurs. So the question is, was there a vacancy or was it not a vacancy? I know there will be a vacancy. I know at some point he will leave the seat. He isn't the commissioner who called the meeting and go take another seat, and you can't hold two seats at the same time. So I know there will be a vacancy at some point. But if there is a vacancy, this outlines the process on what needs to occur, and none of that happened the other day at this meeting. So to your original question, I think this group is in the right. I think the law supports their argument. But then I say that with a caveat. I think you'd also have to have standing. Does this group of 15 folks have to meet the standing requirement that would even allow this court to get to the underlying argument? Or would it have to be one of the two members of the Board of County Commissioners that weren't there? Would they be the individuals that would need to bring this claim in front of the court? I think the underlying argument is there. I just don't know if this 15-party group, watchdog group, is the proper party to bring this claim.
Khalif breaking down the legalese there in terms of having standing to be able to bring such a charge. So also one of the things the complaint mentions is the timing, right? We talked about that leading up to the story of the timing of this. They're saying that one of the commissioners, Lin Shu's dialysis treatments did not end in time for him to attend the meeting. And the group is also saying that Meismer knew this and intentionally scheduled the meeting so that Shu couldn't attend there. Is there any sort of regulation saying that you have to make at least a reasonable attempt to make sure that all members can make the meeting?
I don't think there's anything in law that says there's a reasonable attempt needed to be made. I just think you have to have quorum. And so if you have quorum, then you can go forward with your meeting. And I think it would be at the discretion of the chair to delay, to ensure that other members could be present or not. But even if they would have been there, I think that also is a non-issue because the vote was 3-0. So if that other person was there and they stood in opposition, it still would have been 3-1. And even if you removed the individual, Meismer, that should not have been there and should not have been voting, even though he voted present, his vote counted as a yes vote, it still would have been 2-1. And so the numbers still would have been there, but the procedure, the process wasn't followed right. Now, if he's removed, this outlines how you can get to this process. The Clerk of Superior Court has to then put someone on the board to ensure that you have enough members to make sure this vote can be properly done. So none of the things that are listed in this occurred at all. We can 100% say that did not occur right. But I think if those other two, because it was two members that were not present, if both of them would have been here, then you would have had 4. Then it would have potentially been a tie. There are a number of avenues that we could have walked down of what have, could have, should have happened. But I know that nothing that was supposed to happen did happen.
Well, so we talk about precedent a lot in courts, right? So do you think this situation will present like, hey, we need to start writing something in here for if this should happen again, then this is how we need to handle it?
I would like to see that. I think there should be something that gives an indication for anticipatory vacancies being filled, because that's exactly what happened there. And there is no guidance. So when you talk about precedents, it would be nice to have seen something like this. I checked the School of Government, couldn't find anything similar to that. So love to hear it, but haven't seen it yet.
All right.
All right. Our Chief Legal Analyst, Khalif, we appreciate it.